Absolutely.
Gentleman yields.
Representative Pickett, could you explain your bill for me?
Sure. Could I do a favor? I printed out a copy in bigger type and has a visual aid. May I give this to you? And that goes against my time. I hope you appreciate that. House Bill 2346, Mr. Stickland, is asking to amend Article 2.122 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. And let me give you some background on that first. If you look up 2.122, it's special investigators. The following named criminal investigators of the United States shall not be deemed peace officers, but shall have the powers of arrest, search, seizure under the laws of the state as to felony offenses only. And that applies to special agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as FBI, special agents of the Secret Service, special agents of the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, of which I have one in the family, who's been protecting you for the last 30 years. Special agents of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Special agents of the United States Drug Enforcement Administration. Inspectors of the United States Postal Service. Special agents of the Criminal Investigation Division of the Internal Revenue Service. Civilian special agents of the United States Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Marshals, Deputy Marshals of the United States. Special agents of the United States Department of State Bureau of Diplomatic Security, special agents of the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, special agents of the Office of Inspector General United States Social Security Administration, special agents of the Office of Inspector General of the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, a police officer with the Office of Security and Law Enforcement United States Department of Veterans. B says a person designated as special policeman by the Federal Protection Services Division of the General Services Administration. C is Customs and Border Protection Officer or Border Patrol Agent of the United States Customs. D, a Commissioned Law Enforcement Officer of the National Park Service. E, a Special Agent for Law Enforcement Officer of the United States Forest Service. F, security personnel working at a commercial nuclear power plant, contracted security personnel. And G, special agent of the Secret Service protecting persons under 18 U.S.C. Section 3056. And HB 2346 asks for a commissioned law enforcement officer of a Federal Reserve Bank is not a peace officer under the laws of the state, but has powers of arrest, search, seizure when the offense is committed on premises, grounds, or property of a Federal Reserve Bank, or while the officer is protecting. Now, Mr. Stickland, let me also give you just the reason why this is here. It's kind of interesting, you know, to hear the background why bills are presented. I was teaching a concealed handgun license course, and I'm guessing you do like guns, Mr. Stickland, don't you?
Yes, sir.
I was teaching a concealed handgun license course at Community College in El Paso, who has a really, really great facility. The range safety officer that day had just finished doing an exercise. He was giving SWAT training to a municipality and to the sheriff's office, and he approached me and he said, I understand, Mr. Pickett, besides teaching concealed handgun license courses, you're a state legislator. I said, yes. He said, I'm a Federal Reserve Bank peace officer, and if I see something happen where someone comes onto our property and breaks a state law, all I can do, and I'm armed, by the way, the only thing I can do is call 911 and hope somebody gets here before that person perpetrating some law against the state of Texas leaves. He said, would you consider carrying a bill in the Texas legislature that would put us on the same par of all the other federal officers that you already give this ability to? And I said, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to offer it to the legislature, but I can't give you any guarantees, of course. There may be somebody out there that just hates federal anything with federal in front of it.
And
they
Representative,
don't
let me
like.
ask you a question real quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Are you aware that the Federal Reserve Bank is a privately owned bank?
Yes, sir.
So even though it has the word federal in it, it's not an actual government agency, correct?
They're quasi. They do this on behalf of the federal government.
Is it a department of the federal government,
It's the Department of the Federal Reserve Bank System.
which is a privately
I've
owned...
already agreed with you, Mr. Stickland.
So, and I wanted to make a point. You are aware, too, that the section of code that you referenced only deals with felonies. This bill, however, also deals with misdemeanor offenses. Are you familiar with that?
I am.
Representative Pickett, do you not have a problem with us granting state law enforcement powers of arrest, search, and seizure to essentially a security guard of a private bank?
Boy, I'm sure glad I'm not a Federal Reserve officer. I would take that as an insult. But no, I am not afraid of that, Mr. Stickland, because of the fact that they have taken all of the training, have all the credentials of any other peace officer that we recognize in the
And
state
do
of
we
Texas.
mandate that they take those credentials, or are they just currently doing it?
I can't tell you that if we mandate it or not.
Could the privately owned bank, the Federal Reserve Bank, not change their requirements for their security guards?
That's not in this bill, Mr. Stickland. When
I
it comes to the
understand
general
that.
calendar,
and that's my
you can
concern,
amend it.
Representative Pickett, is that you are giving state law enforcement the powers to arrest, search, and seize, and we do not have anything to do with the mandate of training or their requirements or anything. Representative Pickett, this is a private institution. I believe that there's
Mr.
a parallel
Stickland,
between
are you
a
planning-
Walmart
are you
security
planning-
guard
are
and
you-
what you're talking about doing here.
Mr. Stickland, that is so degrading to these people. Are you planning on committing a state crime at a Federal Reserve Bank? Is that why you're concerned about this bill?
Representative Pickett, I understand this is not the conversation you want to have.
No,
but
I'm
at the
fine
end of
with
the
the
day,
conversation.
the reason that this bill is going to be talked for 10 minutes, 10 days, or 10 months is that this bill is giving state law enforcement powers to a private entity. And if that doesn't scare the members of this body, I don't know what will. This is another part that I have a concern with. Can you talk to me about Section B at the bottom here? 2B.
Yes, I can. Operations conducted by or on behalf of Federal Reserve Bank or the Board of Governors.
And can you talk to me about some of the operations that the privately held Federal Reserve Bank might be doing or conducting?
Maybe an audit of your or my accounts. I don't know exactly,
And that is
Mr.
exactly
Stickland.
my point, Mr. Pickett. These
Read-
people
Look,
could
I
take
gave
this
I-
language.
Look, I gave you in large type. Read
I
it again.
understand that
Read it
this
again.
was some
It
kind
says
of
commissioned-
funny thing, but I also had the bill right here.
Mr. Stickland, I'm trying to answer your question. It says a commissioned law enforcement officer. Did you read that? That means they do certify it. They do pass everything else
certifies
everyone
it?
else does.
Who certifies
Commissioned
them?
law enforcement officer of a Federal Reserve Bank is not a peace officer
Who
under these
commissions
laws
these
of this
law
state,
enforcement
but has the
officers?
powers of arrest.
Who commissions them? Are they a government agency?
So,
Are
they
they
have
under...
to be commissioned.
They're commissioned by a privately held bank, Representative Pickett.
Did somebody
They
turn
could
you down
change
for this
their
job
rules
and
at
you
any
couldn't get it?
time.
What's the deal?
And this bill is going to give them the power to arrest,
That's right.
to search, to seize, based
Mr.
on...
Stickland,
based on
have you read,
operations
Mr.
conducted by
Stickland,
the
have you read
privately
the
held
statute? Will you agree with me that they have that power today if it's a federal law that is being broken?
A federal law?
Yes, sir.
Maybe through citizen's arrest
No,
or
no, no,
something,
no, no,
but
no,
not...
sir. Read the bill. This
I'm
Federal
reading the
Reserve
bill,
officer
Representative Pickett.
has the right today, someone who commits a federal crime on this property, they have the power to arrest that person today.
Okay,
I'm
but do they
asking this
have-
body to consider that that person who has the power today to arrest you or me who commits a federal crime to allow that same ability who
But Representative
who
Pickett, are you
offends
not
a-
aware that this also expands to misdemeanor offenses?
Stickland, We have reached the 9-minute and 43-second mark. Do you intend to finish and speak for the entire 10 minutes?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman.
Continue.
Representative Pickett, I have to tell you that I not only find this bill offensive and setting a bad standard, but I'm absolutely appalled that this somehow made it onto the local and consent calendar, I must tell you. And this is why I continue to address this process and read every single
Thank you,
bill
Mr.
to make
Stickland.
sure
The
things
10-minute
like
mark.
this
Mr.
do not
Stickland,
make it through.
thank you, Mr. Stickland. The 10-minute time has expired. House Bill 2346 has been withdrawn from the calendar. Chair recognizes Representative Farney to explain House Bill 2350.